It's Brother versus Brother with the fully posable wrestling action figure podcast, Jeff Toon, taking on his brother Scott Toon in a cage match trivia showdown with the band Kiss and Kevin Smith movies. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be? And welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Budds. Thanks for checking out this show. What is this show exactly? Maybe you're asking yourself. Maybe you are trying out this podcast for the very first time. And if you are, here's a nice review of the show that kind of gives you a nice summary of what you're going to be listening to. It says, Trivia is best with Buds. This is from Fee Neville, my friend from Springfield, Illinois. She said, I look forward to each new episode of Trivia with Buds, from the catchy intro music to the hilarious jokes and trivia. This is one of my favorite podcasts. I always learn something new and get exposed to interesting and cool people as they participate. The pace and structure are great and make it easy to follow along and stay engaged. If you're not listening to this, you're missing out. That's what the show is, everybody. That is a perfect review from a listener of the show. Thanks for checking it out. This is a pop culture podcast. If you like movies, television, comic books, video games, etc., you will love this show. We've been doing it for a little bit over a year. I think this is episode 62 of the show, 61 or 62, somewhere in there. And there are at least 60 other episodes that you can go back and check out in the catalog. So if you like this one, you're listening to today, which is going to be about the band Kiss, as well as Kevin Smith movies, you might want to go back and check out some of our other episodes, like our episode with Bill Harvanek and Lauren Blackwell, where we did Chris Farley and Netflix trivia. Or maybe, if you want to go way back to when we started the very first episode of the show, you could do some Chicago White Sox trivia with Ken Garr, and some Ghostbusters trivia with Nate Weatherup. Great comedians and great friends of mine. I've got some really cool guests coming up, like the creator of Hey Arnold's Craig Bartlett, talking about bringing Hey Arnold back in the form of the Hey Arnold Jungle movie. I also have Brian Bonsall, who was the youngest sibling on the show Family Ties. He played Andy on that show, and he is also the star of the movie Blank Check. If you are a 90s kid or a late 80s kid, you will know Blank Check for sure. He's going to be on the show very soon with his brother, Victor DiMattia, who is one of the Sandlot kids. So if you like nostalgia, you are in the right place. I am in the right place because in about 8 weeks, I'm having a baby with my wife, our second kid, a baby boy on the way. We're getting ready for that kid, and we're starting the nesting phase, as they say. Now, nesting for a lady is like cleaning up all around the house and making sure there is, everything we need for when the new baby gets here. And nesting for me is drinking beer. So we are having a diaper and beer party. If you live anywhere near me, hit me up. I'd love for you to stop by and check out the house and see what's going on in the Buds Casa de Buds. And we are doing this diaper beer party. I think you're supposed to bring like a case of beer or like a 12-pack of beer or something, and diapers, or I don't really know how it works. We're just having friends and family over. So if you've ever had one of those parties, maybe shoot me a message and let me know what I'm supposed to do. Do I have to buy cigars? Is that a thing I do when you have a baby? I think that was back in the day. People don't really smoke cigars to celebrate babies anymore, do they? I live in California, so we'll just smoke a bowl, right, and go surfing. That's what people do out here. Steamworld Dig 2 is a video game that just came out on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's on all the systems at this point. I highly, highly recommend this game. If you have a Nintendo Switch, it's super fun to play anywhere. I've been playing at home. I've been playing on my breaks at work, and all kinds of fun can be had in this game. It is like a digging game, so you're in a mine and you're a robot, and you get these different upgrades to help you dig further and find out all these secrets. If you like a Zelda-type game or a Metroid, they call this game a Metroidvania-style game, so if you like Metroid or Castlevania, you will dig this game, and man, do I so far. I've probably put 20 hours in, and I just bought it on Thursday. So Steamworld Dig 2, awesome game if you're looking for a new game to play. No Mercy was this weekend, a WWE wrestling pay-per-view. If you're new to the show, I apologize for how nerdy I get with wrestling. But we do have 2 wrestling-related guests on today's show, and we'll get to them in just a second. I had a huge wrestling weekend. I went to a brewery on Saturday night, and this first-time event at a place called the Iron Triangle, downtown LA. It was called Bumps and Bruises, and bruises was spelled like how you would brew beer. And it was a really fun show. Bunch of indie guys putting on an amazing show. The ring was inside the brewery, and they had a special beer brewed just for the event. And I brought home one of those cans. It was all crinkled up, and with the name Bumps and Bruises, it looked really cool on a shelf. So I'm definitely going to check that out. I think it'll be like a quarterly thing down at the Iron Triangle, but look for that, Bumps and Bruises, if you like local wrestling on the West Coast. Also went to No Mercy with my good friend Mike Epsenhart, writer for PW Insider, and he was kind enough to bring me along, and we saw an amazing pay-per-view, really good 3/4 of a show, and then the last fourth was not as exciting, but we saw Roman Reigns versus John Cena, if you know how big of a deal that was. It was super fun to watch, and a great women's title match, 5-way, fatal 5-way. Man, if you like wrestling, it was just a really fun weekend to be a wrestler in California. I am doing a great event tonight at a place called Craft Hill. It is a brand new trivia location for me in West Covina, California. If you are looking to play live trivia with me, we're giving away pop culture art squares. We're giving away framed movie posters. We're giving away dates with me. I can take you somewhere, I'm sure. I'm in the nesting phase, so you can help me clean up my house. No, we're giving away all kinds of awesome stuff, and I would love to see you. It's at 8 p.m. tonight if you're in the West Covina, California area, and you can get all the details on Craft Hill at triviawithbuds.com. Craft Hill is like an amazing new craft, restaurant and beer and all that stuff. And we're going to be doing trivia every Tuesday, 8 to 10. Also, not too far from there in just regular old Covina, not West Covina, you can play with me on Wednesday. That is tomorrow, if you're listening to this on the day it came out. And that is every Wednesday at a place called the Lincoln House, a Lincoln-themed restaurant. It's like a jazz club with a speakeasy at the back of it. You have to have a password for on the weekends. It's very cool. But in the main section of the bar, I host trivia on Wednesdays from 7:30 to 9:30, so come check that out as well. This week's Word of the Week, that's our weekly segment here on the podcast. Your Word of the Week is donkeyman. That's right, donkey and then the word man mushed together for one super word called donkeyman. It is a man working in a ship's engine room. So to use that in a sentence, a lot of donkeymen died on the Titanic. It's kind of depressing, but they were called donkeyman. Donkeyman. That is a fun word that you just learned, and that is somebody who works in a ship's engine room. And also, I'm assuming there's some sort of penis size reference in that name as well. You got to have a big swinging one to get down in that engine room. On this day, September 26th, The Departed in 2006 premiered in New York City. There are rats in this film. I remember that. There's a couple of rats, because there's a rat that runs across a banister at the end of the movie to remind you. Rats. New York City. 2006 Departed premiered. One of my favorite movies. I love that movie. Martin Scorsese, and lots of murder. Lots of gunshots to the face in this movie. Jack Nicholson and Leonardo DiCaprio. You can't go wrong with those two. This week's Badass Pop Culture Thing of the Week is very special. Near and dear to my heart. It is the White Walker Conan O'Brien pop vinyl figure from Funko. This was a figure you could only get at Comic-Con this year, San Diego Comic-Con. I think you had to either be there or you had to win it by texting into the show with a special word every single day. And I tried doing it every single day, and I never won. And I had my wife doing it, and I had my mother-in-law doing it, and they never won. Or did they? Because Saturday night, I'm sitting in my backyard, and we have this little shelving thing that sticks out of the window, whatever that's called, like a 3D window, I guess, that you put plants in and things, in our kitchen. And we're on the back patio, and Annabelle goes, "Hey, Daddy, what's that?" And I turn, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. And I look at it, and it looks like a pop vinyl box. And I go in the house, and I'm like, no. And I pick it up, and it says Conan White Walker. And lo and behold, I have one in my house. And I go into my my wife's office, and she's at the computer. And I go, what the fuck? And she goes, oh, you found it, huh? She goes, I didn't want to tell you I won it till it showed up at the house, but it just came in the mail like an hour ago. I was like, holy cow. And I was at a place called Frankensons, where I was looking at these for sale, and they had all 4 from last year, the Conan giveaway, and they were $100 a piece. It was $400 for the set. I looked this one up online. It's worth $125 right now. So special thanks to Ashley Starling Budds for having that quick texting fingers to win the Conan White Walker pop vinyl this year. Looks great on the shelf with last year's, the one we won, which was the Conan Ghostbusters figure. So very, very cool. Awesome surprise. That's this week's Badass Pop Culture Thing of the Week. This week's Business of the Week. I don't have a Business of the Week this week. That's right. I don't have a business, but I want to advertise that I will advertise your business for next week's Business of the Week. So if you have a business, if you do something, you make stuff, you sell stuff, let me know. I'm looking for businesses to profile. So let's see. I could just probably think of one that's on the spot here. What is a business that I like? Amazon. Have you guys heard of Amazon? I like Amazon Prime because, man, good prices, huh? Putting mom and pop shops out of business. That's not very nice. But Amazon, I do get a lot of good stuff off of there. And I've been on an amazing streaming kick with Amazon Music. It's like 99 cents for 4 months, which has to be coming to an end soon. But I'm going to have to probably fork over the monthly $7.99 or $9.99 for that because I listen to it every day. There's a new Killers album out. There's a song called The Man, which would be my wrestling entrance. I was thinking about that. If I was a wrestler in the 80s, it's just about being like this badass dude that knows how to rob banks. I think that's what the song's about. If you like that song, you and I should be friends. There is a listener quiz on Nikes after this episode towards the end with my good friend Francisco. So listen for the listener quiz. We haven't had one in a few weeks, but we got 5 questions for you on footwear in the form of Nikes right after our interview with these next guys. We're doing Kiss trivia. We're doing Kevin Smith trivia with these 2 very special guests, Jeff Toon and Scott Toon from the Fully Posable Wrestling Action Figure Podcast. Here we go. Sitting here in the comfort of my own home in beautiful Laverne, California, with 2 new friends of mine. They are the Brothers Toon, Jeff and Scott, hosts of the Fully Posable Wrestling Podcast. How are you guys doing?
Doing awesome. Thank you.
How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm good, man. Thanks for sitting in my diner booth in my house. What do you think of my man cave?
Love it. Absolutely love it. This is so comfortable in here. The view is great. I love it.
Checking out all the Batman stuff and the Seinfeld stuff. It's awesome, man.
You guys are the ones that would really appreciate it, so I made sure everything was on display.
Yeah, the wrestling prominently displayed. We like that.
The figures behind you is just making it great.
I went out and spent $1,500 last night just to make sure we were real friends.
We are. It's a good thing you didn't just spend $750. That would have been a little underwhelming.
You would have noticed, right?
Yes, the full 15 made it.
Now, you guys are real-life brothers, not storyline brothers, as you so often mention on your podcast. Tell me a little bit about your podcast.
So it is just a wrestling figure podcast. And what happened was I was listening to a lot of wrestling podcasts. And you get that. You get a lot of the formulaic wrestling podcasts out there. And I was like, I need something that isn't a wrestling podcast. And so it just came into my head. I need a wrestling figure podcast.
It's like a very niche thing, but you guys have, I'm sure, seen you read a lot of emails and people that love the show. It connects with a lot of people in very special ways. You know what I mean? Not just, average collectors. I consider myself kind of like, I buy some stuff, but it's not, I guess it's maybe not super, super meaningful to me, but it is super meaningful to other people, you know?
Absolutely. And some of the emails and questions that we get, people really dig the nostalgia part of it.
Yeah.
But then they also really connect with a lot of the stories that we tell about growing up and collecting figures and going toy hunting. And even certain things that certain figures mean to them. Like we've talked about figures that mean a lot to us, and people send in notes about, this figure means a lot to me because I got it on my first shopping trip with my dad. It was my first wrestling figure, something to that effect. So it connects on many levels with many listeners. It's all different.
There was a really cool story of like a stepdad that started dating a woman who had boys, and they were into wrestling in the early 2000s, I think. And he took them and got them some figures, and then now he's their dad, 15 years later.
Yeah, they're able to bond over wrestling figures.
It was
That's
cool
right
thing.
up our alley. We love it.
Yeah. My daughter, she's running around. Annabelle, we play probably every other night when I get home from work. She's like, let's do it. Or I'll be like, you want to go set up some matches? And right behind where you're sitting, Jeff, there's like a ring and a bunch of loose figures on the ground. So that's kind of like the arena right behind you. But yeah, she's really getting into it. And then like she's starting a toy spot with me where she'll be like, let's go see what they got. You know, that kind of stuff.
There's nothing that beats that. It's the best.
Yeah. And I loved doing it as a kid, and I kind of forgot how much I liked doing it until I started, discovered your podcast through our mutual friend, Marty DeRosa from Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Love Marty.
Yeah, I started doing stand-up with Marty around 2006 or 7, and he's one of the funniest, quickest wits in the world of comedy. I mean, he's so quick. You didn't get a good chance on your podcast because he was just talking about growing up with figures, but like to see him perform is something else. And he was somebody I always admired. Is like, how the hell does he come up with this stuff on the fly like that? And I've gotten, I think, a lot better at that over the years, but it all kind of started with seeing Marty do it in like the early part of my, I guess, career, and go like, man, I got to learn how to do that. This guy's amazing. So
he cracked us up when we went to Wrestle Reunion in 2012.
Yeah.
He and Colt had the $5 wrestling that they hosted, and there were like, I don't know, like 300-400 people in the room when they were showing the $5 wrestling.
Yeah.
And Marty and Colt going back and forth, they were just so quick. I don't know if they had anything scripted. I think it was on the fly, but we were just cracking up the entire time. It was great. We had a blast. Marty's awesome.
Yeah, good dude. So you guys are brothers. Scott, you are the older brother.
Yes, I am by 5 years.
Jeff, you are the younger brother.
I am.
I will tell you this. When I first started listening, before I saw pictures of you guys, I thought your voices were flip-flopped when I saw the pictures. I don't know why. Has anyone ever said that? I was like, that guy's voice is definitely that guy's face. And then I realized that was off, and I'm like, what? And it took me a couple episodes to like get used to your new face. If that makes sense.
I need to learn them all over again.
Yeah. That actually makes sense, man.
It was just, I don't know what it was. And it was just like your Facebook profile picture. Like, I think that's all I saw at first.
Yeah.
And then I had to like retrain myself.
Okay, that's Scott. That's Jeff. Not the other way around.
Yeah. You guys are from the Bay Area.
Yes.
You live about an hour apart. And what do you do for work up there?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I actually deal with donated human tissue and bone from cadavers.
Oh, wow.
So
completely different than what I thought. You guys talk about on your show a lot of like, I had a late night at work. I don't know why. I thought you have separate jobs, right? You don't work together?
Correct.
I have for some reason thought, because it sounds like sometimes you piggyback on having these really long weeks. So I'm like, maybe they work at the same office or firm or something like that.
We did. We worked
okay.
at the same building for about a year.
Two different employers.
Yeah.
Jeff worked for one employer, I worked for another, but because of their shared interest, Jeff and his person that he works with were able to get a office within our building.
Gotcha.
And so we were in the same building and we were able to podcast, forever.
Sure.
And now we work separately, unfortunately. Jeff's over in the Bay Area again, and I'm still in the Central Valley. But yeah.
And are you doing similar work?
I'm in the same field, but I do IT for them. I don't do anything to do with what Jeff does.
Very interesting. Those are like pretty noble sounding jobs compared to my job. My job, I have to call people and be like, hey, we want to use the clip where you fart a cloud of baby powder on a TV show. And then the person's like, which one? And I'm like, there's more than one. And I check the YouTube page and there's 450 butt cheeks farting baby powder clouds. And I'm like, this is a career, I guess.
I actually would rather do that.
Basically the same job. Basically the same thing. You guys grew up collecting all kinds of things. Besides wrestling action figures, what are some things that you're into or maybe still collect?
I collect random stuff. It's
seashells,
not that far.
Stamps,
no. It's just
bones and tissue.
Yeah. That's my job.
Bring your work home with you.
Exactly.
No, I collect random stuff, like a lot of baseball stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of football stuff. Also, I'll bring that. I'll get a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. How about you, Scott?
I'm mostly into Batman. If it's not wrestling, it's Batman. I've collected Batman since before I can remember.
Are you a comics guy or just...
I used to be.
Yeah.
I used to have a heavy comics collection. That's gone by the wayside, and I moved more into toys. Specifically, when I found wrestling figures, comic books died off right then.
Gotcha.
And my focus was wrestling figures. But as I get my hands on some Batman stuff, that's what I mostly collect.
What do you think is my coolest Batman thing from a quick glance? What do you like the most?
It's actually not toys.
Yeah.
It's actually your Batman animated series DVD collection.
Oh, yeah.
Signed
that
by the
Kevin
man himself.
Conroy, yeah.
Yes.
I made the mistake. I had him sign over the plastic. He went to open the plastic, and I'm like, don't do that. Because just like as a reflex to not open something.
Don't open it.
And then now I wish I did because the plastic's going to deteriorate, and then the signature will be gone. But maybe I'll get him to sign it again.
Just have him sign it again. Yeah, that's an
you go.
impressive piece right there.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man.
Get a paint pen.
I got that on Craigslist for $90.
Not bad.
From a guy that worked at Warner Brothers who had like 2 or 3 of them.
Very cool.
As gifts. So he had a Batman Beyond completed set too, but I never got into that. I know it's good, but I never.
It is good.
I passed on it. I was like, maybe I'll.
Well, if you never watched it, I'm sure there's some sentimental value tied to that animated series as well.
And
a lot of people grew up with it.
Right, and I don't think you can buy that complete set anymore. You can get the individual volumes, but I don't think you can get the
I
whole
haven't seen
set.
that one in a long time.
Yeah, and I think it's about 10 years old at this point. So that's one of my favorites. Thanks for digging it. You've had some other cool guests. We talked about Marty DeRosa on your show, Zack Ryder as well, one of the current roster WWE superstars, and he was so fun to listen to. It was like talking to a regular Joe.
Yeah, that was the great thing about it, is he was just so awesome. He was so down to earth. He was more than willing to answer any of the questions. Nothing was off topic. Zach was just a really good guy.
Yeah, we were really thankful that he gave us the time that he did to talk about his collection, because he's probably the most well-known Hasbro collector out there.
Yeah.
So for him to give us that time and talk about his collection was awesome.
That's really cool. And then what is your goal with your podcast? Do you have like a goal besides just putting it out every week? Do you want it to lead to something else? Is your dream job to be sort of like a go-to source for Mattel or whoever has the line to kind of go like, what do you guys think about this? Would that be the dream?
We're open to any jobs that anybody wants to throw our way.
Well, Marty had the great idea when we podcasted with him is to just become quality control for a place.
Yeah,
and
wouldn't that be
start
great?
calling him on stuff that's incorrect. Like, for example, the Goldberg Retro 3 series.
Yep.
And he doesn't have the gloves on.
Right.
Why not, Mattel?
Yeah.
We could help with that, see?
They wouldn't even have to give you a full-time job. They could just say, hey, we're going to send you some stuff, and then you'd be happy to do it, I bet. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We'll be
And
consultants.
It would cost them nothing, and they would make better products. So
Exactly.
Yep.
once again, we're putting that out there. Let's see what we can do. We'll see
Bill,
what
are you
happens.
listening?
Yeah. Now, where did you get the name Fully Posable for the podcast from? Did you have a bunch of different names at first?
So we were kicking around a bunch of different names, and we didn't even know where to go with it with the name.
Wrestling Buddies came up,
Wrestling Buddies did
but it
come
was
up.
taken.
Yep. And so one night, Scott happened to say, I don't know, what about Fully Posable? And I was like, it's okay, but I couldn't get it out of my head. It was still going in my head.
Because LJNs are the exact opposite of that.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But I kept going back to that. And I was like, you know what? I think that's the name. I can't get it out of my head. I think that's where we need to go. And I went to Scott. I was all, Fully Posable is the name. He goes, perfect.
Yeah, it wasn't our first choice, but it won.
There you go. That's a great name for the show. And then, Scott, you're married, have 2 kids?
Yes, I do. A 16-year-old and an 8-year-old.
16-year-old and an 8-year-old. And no kids for you, Jeff?
No kids, 3 dogs.
3 dogs. I have 3 dogs. They're
you got 3 dogs?
Yeah, they're upstairs. The one was barking when you walked in. But how old are your dogs?
Gunner is 11. That's my boy.
Yeah.
Like, that dog means the world to me.
Sure.
And he's getting up there in age, and I'm already starting to think ahead. And I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah, we just had to put a cat down who was like 16. My wife got him when she was a freshman in high school.
Oh.
And they just kind of start to go,
16's a good age, though.
But yeah,
That's
it's
a long life.
Long life for like a stray. I think it was a stray cat when they first got him. But yeah, I didn't have a dog as a kid. Asked for one every year for my birthday. My parents told me I was allergic, so they wouldn't have to buy me a dog. Found out in my 20s I wasn't allergic at all to dogs, and actually felt healthier, and my heart beat faster when they wagged their tails. And I'm like,
Yes.
I think I'm getting a dog right away. So I graduated college, and my dog Carver is out there. He's probably about 10. So he's getting close to Gunner's age there.
Yep.
Okay, cool. We know a lot about you guys. We know about your show. Now we're going to dive into the 5 topics you gave me for today's Trivia Showdown. So, Jeff, we'll start with your categories. You gave me these, I want to say, over a month ago, and then I got Scott's just the other day, and I think I found a really good matchup of the 2 topics. But let's get into your 5. Your first one, just in general, baseball. You mentioned collecting baseball stuff. What do you love so much about baseball?
I don't know. There's something about it that I get hooked by it. There's just something about it. I know it's slow.
Yeah.
I know it's methodical.
Sure.
But I'm hooked.
Some might say baseball is the opposite of watching wrestling.
Exactly.
It's the exact opposite of watching wrestling.
It's a funny story because when I was playing hockey, I was a goalie. So I had action all around me. So when my knees finally gave out, I was like, you know what? I need something to take up my time, whether it be a sport. And I was like, well, I'll play softball. Now I'm standing out in left field, and I'm like, well, maybe the ball will be hit to me.
Maybe.
Just maybe.
Yeah. I've never been into any other sports. I played t-ball as a kid when I was 5. And then my mom went to sign me up the second year, and I said, don't do that. Like, I'm good. I've had enough t-ball.
Good. You didn't get forced into it. That's awesome.
My mom, I was the last of 5 kids, so she was trying to get me into stuff, but she also knew, I think she realized early on, like, oh, he's more of a performer and not so much a athletic performer. You know?
Nailed it.
So it's like the South Park episode where they just wanted the softball or the baseball season to end.
Yeah. So I didn't play Little League. I played 4th to 8th grade basketball, and I was actually really good. I jumped the ball every game, and I was like a really good rebounder and stuff like that. So that was really fun. And then I got to high school, and I went to like an integrated high school where like it was like 5 schools, like some city schools in Chicago. And I was like, oh, these people can dunk. And I'm like, oh, hey guys, I'll jump the ball, but like I could jump the ball against other like white kids from my church league, not like these crazy tall dunking people. I was on the D team, which is the 4th string. And I was late to the first practice, and the coach was like, oh, you have to be the water boy for the next month. And I was like, I'll just join speech team, I think.
There you go.
And that was it for my sports career.
It paid off.
Yeah. So baseball, your next thing, also sports related, Buffalo Bills football.
Yes.
Now, Buffalo Bills, you're not from that area. What makes you like the Buffalo Bills so much?
That's kind of a weird story. It's just one of those, I was such a Niners fan growing up when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And one day I just happened to see a Bills game. I want to say it was like 88 or 89.
Sure.
And they were fun to watch. And I was watching Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas. I was like, these guys are great.
Yeah.
But I was such a Niner fan, I didn't pay any attention. The following season, I saw him again, and I'm like, man, these guys are fun to watch. So I start following them. Next thing I know, I become a huge fan.
And that's your number one team.
That is.
That's the one you follow the most.
That is.
Very good. Your next topic, Kevin Smith movies.
I love Kevin Smith movies.
Have you seen all his films?
I have.
Really?
Yep.
Do you like the ones like the more serious, like a Red State type Kevin Smith movie? No.
Nope.
Just the comedy?
All Clerks.
Just give me Mallrats. I'm good.
What about the more modern, the Tuscan things?
No, I didn't want. Okay, so when I said Kevin Smith movies, I should have probably clarified the first 5.
Yeah.
I should have probably clarified that because Tusk, that wasn't my cup of tea.
I saw Tusk with a Q&A that he was at, and I still was like, like it was like kind of fun, but I don't even know if it was that fun.
Kevin Smith Q&As are just the best.
Oh man, I got to ask him a question one time.
Oh, what'd you ask him?
It was when Clerks 2 came out. It was 2006 maybe.
Yep.
And I stood up, and it was at Wizard World Chicago. It was probably 2,000 people in this room, and I'm like, there's a lot of religious references in the movie. Did you have some sort of spurt of becoming super Christian, or did your wife make you do it? And he's like, my wife doesn't make me do anything, sir, except lick her ass or something filthy. And I was like, and everyone laughed, and I was like, oh no. But it was, he did answer the question. He just said like, he thought that the character Dante between the first movie and the second movie would have turned to religion more, because he wears like a cross, kind of like you're wearing, more openly in the second movie, and there's like some biblical stuff. And I just thought it was an interesting thing to insert into such a goofy ass comedy where there's like a donkey show, you know? But it was cool. He answered it well, and it was a cool bucket list thing to be able to ask him a question at a Q&A. You know?
Oh, that's nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So your next topic. So we went to Kevin Smith movies. We went to fantasy football.
Yeah,
I bet you got some Bills players on those.
No, not this year.
Not this year.
I've got McCoy. I'm good.
Sure. Yeah. Fantasy football, you guys talk about, which kind of intrigues me. It almost makes me want to do it like the fantasy wrestling stuff, like the point systems.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you
seriously, get into our next league.
Scott's got me hooked.
I guess if I only had to commit to a quarter, like between Survivor Series and Mania or something like that, it's not like you're doing the whole year or something.
Right. So we break it into seasons. We go from WrestleMania to SummerSlam, and then we go from SummerSlam to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That we're in the long part right now.
Yeah.
So our next season, if you want to jump in, we're going to do that's the short one. It's like 5 or 6 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably like 5 months.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I might do that. It would totally make me go like, oh, what's Jason Jordan doing tonight?
Exactly.
Like if he's on my list.
That's exactly what's happening, man.
And then you're watching Jason Jordan matches, hoping for finishers and wins.
I guess, is there somebody who really nerds out and does all the points for you so you don't have to watch it all?
Yeah, it's almost one of those things like when you commit to a fantasy league, it's first one to say not it. Nobody wants to keep score. Sure. It's the worst job.
Oh, man. That's kind of interesting to me, and I imagine if you like real sports, that's obviously like the same kind of thing, right?
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
I watched The League. That's about as close as I got.
How
to
great
fantasy.
is that show?
It's a good show. That got a little weird when you found out what's his name lied about being in 9/11 building. Did you hear about that? Steve Ranazizi, Kevin on the show.
Yeah,
it was like because I think we found out halfway through the last season of the show airing, and I was like, every time I would watch it, I'm like, that's kind of weird.
It was so random that, and like, why of all things did he come up with that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess he was a lot younger, and it's kind of an interesting anecdote when you move out from the coast to try and make it out here. I think that's what he kind of said on a Howard Stern or something like that. But still, great show, The League, fantasy football. Your next topic was Metallica, from the beginning of Metallica to 1996 specifically.
Yeah, before Load.
right before Load. Yeah, and Reload.
Oh, yeah, let's not go there.
You actually went specific with it?
Dude, I did.
Of course you did.
I just told this story. My grandma died in 95, my mom's mom, and I was sad because I was really close with her. So my mom took me to a store called Venture. Did they have Venture out by you guys at all?
I've never heard of it.
It's like a Kmart. It was a black and white striped sign, like a vertical sign, like a big upright rectangle, and it just said Venture with black and white stripes. It was like a dirtier Kmart, if you can imagine. Like it was just like spills and stains and stuff everywhere, and everything was always on sale. And I went to a Venture with my mom right when we found out my grandma died, and she goes, "What can I buy you to take your mind off of it?" And she got me the Master of Puppets cassette tape.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't even like Metallica. I just thought, like, this will take my mind off because I think they're supposed to be cool or whatever. And it is a great album, especially on cassette tape back in 95. Wow. Yeah. So that's my Metallica. I've never seen them live. Have you seen them live?
I have.
Yeah, it's pretty great, I bet.
Oh, it was. We saw them New Year's Eve at San Jose.
In San Jose, yeah. They played on New Year's Eve. It was an awesome show.
What do you think about Metallica kind of in the last couple years doing stuff like a Jimmy Fallon, a little bit more non-Metallica type appearance? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think
they're getting older.
Yeah.
You're getting older. You're kind of spreading your name out there a little bit more, but who doesn't know about Metallica?
Yeah. And they're more like trying to stay fresh, I would guess, like in people's minds.
They did come out with a new album just recently. It wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, it was on, it popped up on my Amazon Music, and the first track's like, oh, here we go. It's like a really fun, the first couple tracks are being really good. So there you go. Those are your 5 topics. We had baseball, Buffalo Bills, football, Kevin Smith movies, fantasy football, and Metallica from the beginning till 96. Scott, here are your categories. Another band to start off with, Kiss.
Yes, sir.
I gave you some prints from my good friend Drew A. Blank, and you're like, oh, are there any Kiss prints?
Yeah, that was
like,
my
I don't think
first
so.
question. Yeah.
But yeah, you're a big Kiss guy.
Yes.
The whole career of Kiss, or just a certain era or anything like that?
Well, I was born in 74.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so Kiss, I believe, came in between 72 and 73, somewhere in there. So basically, when I was born, my 2 older half-brothers got me into them almost immediately.
Okay.
And it was just the look of them, their stage show, it hooked me big time. I never got out of them.
Do you like some of those other big performance artists like a Guar or anything like that?
I do like Guar. I've actually seen Guar live one time.
Yeah.
When Odorous was still alive, actually.
Okay.
So I got to see them. It's tragic I didn't get to see them after that because they were just amazing, and I wish I had seen them more times before I saw them on their last tour.
There you go. What's your favorite Kiss song of all time?
Black Diamond.
Black Diamond. Is that about skiing?
It is not
about
nor
skiing.
about snakes.
All right, your next topic, wrestling in general. We've talked a lot about wrestling figures and watching wrestling.
Yes.
What makes you such a wrestling fan?
I got into the wrestling thing in the mid 80s when Hogan just blew up.
Sure.
And the characters were larger than life. You had Iron Sheik and Ricky Steamboat and Nikolai Volkov and Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. Just colorful guys and such character that they brought out. It just hooked me, much like Kiss, and I just never let it go. I've had so many people come in and out of wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's just been the one constant with Jeff and I is wrestling and wrestling figures.
They were real life superheroes to us. That's exactly what they were.
Yes,
Sure.
exactly.
And then you watch these this John Cena cricket commercial, and you're like, oh God, they are real life superheroes to a lot of people.
They
never
really
give
are.
up stuff.
They really are.
My kid Annabelle, if I put her in any kind of submission hold, I go, do you give up? And she goes, I never give up. And she doesn't even realize she probably heard that from watching wrestling.
Quoting Cena, yep.
She ran up to the TV when his music comes on. She goes, oh, John Cena. Like, she knows who it is now. And she grabs a Cena figure who's getting RKO'd by Randy right behind me.
Yes.
And she runs up and she follows as he comes to the ring. She'll follow on the TV screen.
That's so
I'm
great.
Like, it's happening.
Yeah,
It's
when you can
happening.
share it with your kids, it takes it to a whole new level.
I can't wait for the boy to get here. I got a boy coming in 9 weeks. And I have this thing in my head where I'm like, in 4 or 5 years, I'll take them front row to some amazing pay-per-view, and they'll really be like, whoa, they're right there.
Yep.
I can't wait.
It'll blow them away.
There you go. Your next topic after Kiss and wrestling was wrestling figures. We've talked a lot about those with your podcast.
Yes.
How many figures, this is a question I had for you, both of you. How many figures do you have in your collection total, do you think? Loose and sealed. You guys are mint on card collectors mostly, but I'm sure you have some loose ones too.
Our old collection.
Yeah.
So our LJNs, our Remcos, our Hasbros, and most of our Jacks are all loose.
Oh, wow.
Galoobs.
Are you over
Galoobs too.
500?
Easily.
Really?
If you combine our collections,
Yeah.
pushing what, 1,500?
Holy cow.
I mean, 1,000. It's got to be somewhere in there.
To put a number on it, it's just
Man.
we just don't know.
To give you an idea, just in Jeff's back room alone, he's got figures stacked up in boxes and suitcases and on the floor that aren't even hung up on his wall, and his wall is completely covered, all 4 of them, with figures.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, plus whatever's in our garages too.
So to give you an idea, Scott's daughter came over one day with our mom.
Yeah.
And I guess she was bored and started counting all the wrestling figures that are in the back room and loose in the front room.
Yeah.
And she counted 213 figures between carded and loose.
Wow.
And that doesn't count the ones in your garage, the ones in my garage, the ones hanging up on my wall,
the ones in Grandma Toon's garage.
And in our grandmother's garage in San Leandro too. We have a garage full of like our LJNs are in there.
Oh man.
Yeah, some other ones. So I would say probably 1,000 to 1,500, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I'm glad I asked. Now I got something to work towards.
Yeah, that's a lot.
When you're hanging them on the wall, do you just put a push pin into the actual wall?
That's it.
Thumbtack.
Yeah. I have this giant piece of cardboard I'm thinking about putting on the wall. It would take up most of the wall behind you, and then you can push pin into the cardboard, and it's not damaging the wall.
Yep.
But you're just putting those 4 pins to keep or nails probably to keep the cardboard up. So I think that's my plan. I think I'm going to do that.
There you go. Yeah, it works well.
For all my retros. I still haven't. Have you guys found the retro series 2?
Not series 2.
California, I don't think it exists. I checked Vegas last weekend, nothing in Vegas.
So frustrating.
2 different Walmarts.
We were checking Reno about a month ago.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Something on the west side of the states. We're just not getting them.
Yeah, they don't like us out here, dude.
Yeah, I found the Ninja Turtle Series 2 wrestling crossover figures at FYE out here for $28, which is high. And then I found them for $20 at Toys R Us, but they only had 2 and they were kind of jacked up boxes, so I hadn't gotten them. But then I also I found them for $9 at a Walmart. Perfect condition, and they were just on clearance. So I'm kind of like, well, I jumped and got those right away the first series. Maybe I'll wait for the second series.
We weren't sure what the supply was going to be on that first series. That's why everybody jumped right away on it. So yeah, we'll see what happens on series 2.
There you go. After wrestling and wrestling figures, we had wrestling video games. That's kind of an interesting topic.
From the first WWF game to the most current 2K18, I've pretty much had all of them.
Do you like the modern 2Ks? Do you enjoy them quite a bit?
I do, but there's a lot to be said for like the No Mercy and WrestleMania THQ games. Those were just amazing.
I loved, I think it was called All Stars a couple years back, where it's very arcadey.
Over the top.
Yeah,
it really captured what we talked about earlier with that 80s wrestling feel. It was just very cartoony and over the top.
Here's what I need. I need 12 moves per guy. I don't need insane amounts. I don't want to do twist the stick a certain way to tap in or tap out. I want it to just be up and X is a move, left and X is a move. The No Mercy controls. But with modern wrestlers, I would love for it to look as cool as it does, but I want it to be way more fun and less of a simulation. That's my biggest thing, I think.
Yeah, and it seems to be they're trying to find that happy medium between the two, and they haven't found it yet. It is more sim-based, but they're trying every year to incorporate more of those older games into the newer games.
The games to me seem almost like work sometimes, where I'm like, you're like working to win a match, and it's not super fun. Whereas I'm like, as the older I get, when I was younger, I would have put a lot of time into, creating all the stuff. But now I'm like, I can only pick up for a little bit and play. So I need it to be really fun. I just bought a game for Nintendo Switch called Steamworld Dig 2, which is a sequel to a Nintendo 3DS game called Steamworld Dig from 4 or 5 years ago. Never played the first one, was watching it, and I'm like, this sequel looked really good. It's the funnest game, and I've been playing it for I don't know, maybe the last day, and I'm like, this is my game. You know what I mean? It's just awesome animations. It's kind of like a cutesy graphics. You're like a robot digging through mines.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's just you collect stuff and you unlock new stuff. It's I just need enough to keep my attention for short spans.
Give me little rewards here and there to keep me going.
Keep me playing. Yeah. So that's as I get older, I'm like, that's the game. I don't have time for RPGs anymore and stuff like that. It's it's just too much. It's just too hard. Even the new Zelda, which was so awesome when I first got the Switch, I kind of it fell by the wayside because I'm like, it's too big. There's too many things to go do and read and find out about. And I'm like, I don't really care enough about this to do it.
That's why I haven't bought Grand Theft Auto 5 yet.
Yeah.
It's too big.
It's too big, yeah.
And with you and I being dads, the biggest thing is time. We can't invest that much time into a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick up and play.
Yeah, there you go. Your last topic, Batman. You mentioned that in terms of collecting stuff.
Yes.
What's your favorite Batman movie?
Ooh.
Out of all the iterations, what do you think?
I'm going to say The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, with Heath Ledger as the Joker. You can't top it.
It's so good.
When he
blows up those buildings behind him and he's walking out in the nurse costume. I just watched that.
Classic.
It's so good.
It's classic. That's not including the 1966 Batman film.
Sure. I have the whole
love
series of that too over on the shelf. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, I did. I was admiring
Blu-rays. And I've talked
Very
about this
nice.
maybe on the podcast before. The Blu-rays of that show, some of the most phenomenal Blu-rays I've ever seen. Like it looks
nice.
like the show is filmed now to look 60s. It's like
beautiful.
the most crystal clear show I've ever seen.
I've got to get it.
And you can get the individual seasons for I think $15 or $20 if you don't
that's
want
not
the whole
bad.
set. So yeah,
Not bad.
Check it out. All right, those are your 5 topics, and now we're going to reveal what topic I chose for each of you. You guys ready?
Go for it.
All right,
Absolutely.
Jeff, your topic is Kevin Smith movies.
Okay.
And Scott, your topic is Kiss.
Yes.
So it's Kevin Smith movies versus Kiss. This is the Trivia Showdown. All right, before we start the Trivia Showdown, we need to come up with a buzz-in word, something that means something between the two of you, 1 or 2 syllables. What are you thinking for your buzz-in word?
Go for it, Scott.
Mark.
Yep.
Mark, which is like the mark button you play when you mark out for wrestling stuff on your show. Very good. So your buzz-in word will be Mark, which is perfect for your show. And we're going to dive right into the first question. It'll be a Kevin Smith question. Then we'll go to Kiss and back and forth. You get 1 point when you get your question right for your topic, and you get 2 points if you can steal the other guys. Now, do you feel like you know a lot about Kevin Smith movies?
I've seen most of them, yes.
And how do you feel about Kiss?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. This should be a fun little battle between brothers. And remember, loser leaves the family.
Oh,
Yeah. I talked to the benefactors about that. And they said we can follow that. Yeah.
We know who their favorite is.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right. So here we go. This is the Trivia Showdown. You're buzzing in with the word Mark.
Trivia Showdown.
Here we go. Question number 1, Kevin Smith. And you got to wait for the whole question to be read so people can play along at home. All right. This is question number 1. Here we go. What film was the second in what Smith dubs his True North trilogy? What is the second film in the True North trilogy?
Mark.
Scott.
Mallrats?
Is not Mallrats, but a good guess. True North trilogy. Jeff's thinking it over.
Oh, I know this one, but
I'll give you a hint. It's on Netflix right now. That might help. Any guesses?
It's a recent film, isn't it?
Could be.
Oh, I'm drawing a blank on the name of it.
You mentioned you don't know these films very well.
Yeah.
Because it's not one of the older ones.
I'm tapping out. What was it?
It was Yoga Hosers.
That's
Yoga
it.
Hosers.
Literally never heard of it.
You never heard of it?
No.
It was this True North trilogy. It's all Canadian horror comedies. And,
Okay.
They're all kind of like stemmed from being high on his show, on his podcast. So they kind of were just like, "What if this happened?" And then they turned those ideas into actual movies. So Tusk was the first one. Yoga Hosers is the second one. The third one's called Moose Jaws.
Moose Jaw.
And it's about-
I was thinking
wow.
of Moose Jaws.
Yeah, so that one they're working on right now.
Okay.
Johnny Depp's in the first 2, which is great.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
with
Okay.
crazy amounts of makeup on. And his daughter is in the second one. She's one of the girls. It's Kevin Smith's daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter.
Boy, we're off to an awful start, Scott.
Yeah.
So no points there.
Suck.
But that wasn't my topic, so.
There you go.
no.
So here's the first Kiss question. Now you get 1 point. If you get it, Scott, 2 points if you can steal it. Jeff, here we go. Question number 1 for Kiss. What year was Kiss inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Mark,
Jeff.
2014?
That is correct for 2 points. Stolen from his older brother.
Wow.
Boom.
Wow.
I remember
And,
Jericho talking about it.
There you go.
Jim
Yeah.
just turned heel officially.
Question number 2 for Kevin Smith movies. What year did Dogma come out?
Mark.
Scott.
98.
Incorrect.
1996?
Incorrect. It was 99. So you're off by 1 year there, Scott.
Darn it.
99.
Almost had my 2 back.
The year of the Dogma.
Was I thinking Chasing Amy?
Yes,
That
you
was
were.
probably right before
Yes,
that.
you were.
97 or 98. Yep. Here's question number 2 for Kiss. What city did Kiss form in during 1973?
Mark.
Scott?
New York.
New York City. That's your first point. It's 2-1.
Well done.
And it's definitely not going to be a shutout, which is great.
That would be embarrassing.
Question number 3 for Kevin Smith movies. Smith's Twitter header picture has been the same for a long time, and it features him with a co-star of a few of his movies who has since passed away. Who is in his Twitter header picture?
I'm out on that one. I used to follow him on my old Twitter, but since I've taken over Fully Posable.
So it's Kevin Smith's Twitter header picture. It's been the same for a while. It's him and someone who has passed away that's been in a few different movies of his. Who's in the picture with him? He is actually in the movie Dogma, and he's in the Dogma costume. So this must have been from when they shot that.
Oh, man. I haven't even looked at Kevin Smith's Twitter.
I used to follow it.
Yeah.
I'm out on that one.
No guesses?
Ryan?
It was George Carlin. George Carlin.
Oh, yes, he was in that.
Yeah.
Yes, he was in that.
I think he switched it when Carlin died, so it's been probably 4, 5, 6 years. I forget when Carlin died, but
Okay.
he's, that's what it is. All right, so question number 3 for Kiss. What was Kiss's first top 40 single?
Mark.
Yep.
Beth.
Incorrect. Jeff.
Top 40 single.
First one.
Detroit Rock City.
Incorrect. Rock and Roll All Night. Rock and Roll All Night was their first, according to wherever I read this. First top 40 single. All right, so no points there. It's a low-scoring game so far. 2-1.
I thought it was Beth.
Could have been Beth. All right.
That song.
This is question number 4 for Kevin Smith movies. Now, you said you didn't like this one, but maybe you can get it. What actor plays Special Agent Keenan in Red State? What actor plays Special Agent Keenan in Red State? Yep.
Bruce Willis?
Incorrect. Scott.
John Goodman.
It is John Goodman.
Are you serious?
Yep, for 2 points. Well done.
I've never seen it. That was literally a shot in the dark.
Just like
and
that.
you just stole my question.
Scott
That's like 2
steals
points.
the
boom.
lead. 2 points. It's 3-2. Scott's up by 1. That's the fun of the game. To go
Closed
back
my eyes
forth.
and swung the bat. How about that?
John Goodman. I did not like Red State very much. I watched it with high anticipation, and I kind of was like, the whole time.
Which one was Bruce Willis in?
Bruce Willis was in a movie directed by Kevin Smith, but not like written. It was called Cop Out.
Cop Out. That's one. That's what I was
And its
thinking.
original title was A Couple of Dicks. And
Yep,
the
yep.
studio was like, we can't call it that.
We can't do that.
So here is another question for Kiss. Number 4, in 1994, Kiss My Ass came out. What type of album was it?
Mark.
Yep.
Cover album.
It is a cover album. Artists putting their own spin on Kiss songs. So good job. That's 1 point. And now it's 4-2. Jeff, did you have any idea about that one?
No.
Kiss my ass.
No.
That's what Scott says in retaliation. Kiss my ass. Here's question number 5 for Kevin Smith movies. In the movie Clerks, Dante hangs a sheet up that says, I assure you...
Mark,
What?
we are open for business.
We're open. That's right. And that's 1 point for Jeff. So it's 3-4. Did you know that one at all, Scott?
I did, and I believe he did that in shoe polish as well.
There you go. I assure
Well
you
played.
we're open.
You should get 2 points
Why
just
does
for
he
that.
Why does he have to hang up the sheet?
Because the shutter wouldn't open that
yes.
garage door.
Or he
type
didn't
thing.
have the key to open the shutter or something like that.
But people could still get into the store.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because he wasn't even supposed to be there today.
That's right. Okay, here's question number 5 for Kiss. Who brought Kiss out for their first reunion since the early 80s in 1996?
Mark.
Yep.
Tupac.
It was Tupac, and that is your 5th point.
Dude.
You get the diagonal slash through the first 4. So that's 5-3. Tupac, very excited to bring out Kiss.
Yes, he
And
was.
I looked this up. I don't think I ever saw this moment. So I watched it on YouTube yesterday, and he's super excited. And they kind of walk out, and people don't really know what to think. It's not like oh my God, I can't believe Kiss is here. They kind of just walk. He goes, all right, I got some people for you or something.
Yes.
And then they just kind of come out. And I feel like real Kiss fans probably shit their pants, but like people at the Grammys that are like, wait, what? You know what I mean? They were cheering, but it wasn't like outstanding cheering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, there are so many Kiss impersonators out there, and
That's
anybody
true.
can dress up in the makeup and put on high heels and walk out, and you're like, that might be, but then once they realized it was really Kiss, it was like, oh yes.
Was it a hologram of Tupac?
No,
They should do it again.
Yes.
They should do it again. Relive that moment. That'll be kind of fun. All right, here we go. This is number 6 about Kevin Smith movies. What does the character Brody collect in Mallrats?
Mark.
Scott.
Comics.
It is comics, and then it's 2 points. So it's now 7-2.
If you would have asked which video game he was playing, it was NHL 94 or 93.
yeah.
Yes, it was.
That's right.
Make Gretzky bleed.
Wait, no, that's Swingers, isn't it? Where they were trying to make Gretzky bleed.
Is that Swingers?
Yeah, Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau. They order the food, and the guy gets up to go get the takeout food.
Okay.
And he unpauses it, and then he makes Gretzky bleed, and he comes back, and they start fighting. I think it's Swingers.
Okay, so
But I
he
think
was playing,
Brody might be playing something at the beginning of
He was
Yes.
when
Yeah.
she left.
when
he was
Shannon
playing
Doherty's laying
NHL.
there, he's playing
That's
NHL.
right.
Yep.
That's right. All right. That's kind of an interesting question. Maybe I could do a trivia round about people playing games in movies. Like what
Yes.
games are they playing or
Ooh,
something?
Yes.
Well
That's
done.
pretty good. All right, here we go. This is question number 6 for Kiss. Eric Carr's, do you know who that is?
Yes, I do.
Eric Carr's makeup was known as what animal character in the band?
Mark.
Jeff was close, but Scott.
Fox.
The Fox, that's right. And that is your 8th point. It's 8-3. Jeff needs some steal points here. Let's see what he can do. We're diving back into Kevin Smith movies. Here it is, number 7. Where does Zach work in Zach and Miri Make a Porno, where they end up filming their movie Star Whores?
Mark.
Yep.
Coffee shop.
A coffee shop is correct, and that's your
Very good, Jeff.
4th point. Nice.
Put that rally cap on.
Very good. Jeff is behind in the amount of letters that are normally in Jeff and in the score of this game. JEF. No extra F there. Scott, 2 T's.
Yes, 2 T's.
That is the privilege of the older brother to have
So there's
all
a
the
secret
letters. Yeah.
on that.
What happened?
Our parents were big into 5-letter names.
Really?
So our older half brothers, Keith and Kevin, and then Jeffrey with 1 F, Jefry, and Scott, 5 letters.
Interesting.
And my
There you
first
go.
daughter's Alana,
Uh-huh.
Alana, but then I broke the streak with Peyton.
There you
and
go.
put in 6. Had to break that streak.
P'_YTN. Or TON.
She would hate me
A-T.
forever if I did that to her.
That'll be a wrestling name.
Yes, exactly.
Your daughter and my daughter are going to wrestle. They'll be a tag team.
Very possibly, yes.
Great. I always had this idea if I had twin boys, they would be called the Budds brothers, and their t-shirt would say Budds is thicker than water.
I like it.
Wouldn't that be good?
I
That
like
is
it.
great.
I'm going to try and impregnate my wife just to make that happen.
Yes.
Keep it going. Got to make the dream happen. Here we go. This is question number 7 for Kiss. What is the single word of Kiss's most recent album in 2012?
Mark,
Yes.
monster.
Monsters, correct. And that is 9 points. So it's 9-4. Still lots of chances for Jeff to bounce back. This is just the first round. We got 2 more rounds to go. Here is question number 8 for Kevin Smith movies. What kind of creature does Justin Long get turned into in Tusk? What kind of creature does Justin Long get turned into in Tusk?
Mark.
Yes.
Walrus?
A walrus is correct. And that's your 5th point. Nice job. And you haven't seen it, or you have seen it?
I saw bits and pieces and I turned it off. Sorry, Kevin, if you're listening.
He's a big fan. All right. This is question number 8 for Kiss. What was Gene Simmons' reality show's name?
Mark,
Scott?
Family Jewels.
Family Jewels is correct, and that's 10 points. 10-5. This is number 9 for Kevin Smith movies. In which Die Hard sequel is Kevin Smith a character named Freddie Warlock Coludis? Which Die Hard movie is Kevin Smith a character named Freddie Warlock Coludis?
Mark,
Yes.
the 3rd Die Hard movie.
Do you have the full title?
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
That is the title and the 3rd movie, but it's not the right movie. So you got the 3rd one limited out. What do you got there, Jeff? Any guesses?
Nope, no guesses.
No guesses? Live Free or Die Hard, the 4th movie.
Oh.
2007. That's the hacker one, where Timothy Oliphant is a hacker that controls all the traffic signals and things like that. It's not the greatest. Here we go.
It was really downhill from there.
I saw it in a drive-in, which made it kind of fun. But
wow.
as I've watched it since then, I'm like, oh, maybe it was just the drive-in.
Yeah, it must have
It's
been
the
that.
experience.
Yes.
Kind of cool. Yep. Superman Returns had the drive-in syndrome for me, where I was like, this is a great Superman, but it was like lightning out at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And it was cool backdrop for
Set
like
the mood.
And
Yep.
there was lightning at the beginning of the movie, and I'm like, this is the best movie. And then it was not very good.
Then you watch it again and you're
Yep.
like, oh, wait.
And then that guy was never in another movie.
Never, literally.
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is number 9 for Kiss. What song had the lyrics, "Don't need to wait for an invitation. You got to live like you're on vacation"? Kiss lyrics. Don't need to wait for an invitation. You got to live like you're on vacation. What Kiss song is that?
Mark,
Yep.
Lick It Up.
It is Lick It Up. You're 11 point, 11-5.
Dude.
I'm going through the whole song in my head.
There you go.
That's right at
It's
the
playing it
beginning.
up. He tried getting his ringtone to go off.
That's right. Exactly.
Number 10. This is the last Kevin Smith question. So 2 points if Scott can steal it, or 1 point if Jeff can get it. Number 10. Kevin Smith was a co-executive producer on what 1997 Oscar-winning film? I never knew this till I looked this up. Kevin Smith was a co-executive producer on what 1997 Oscar-winning film?
Mark,
Yes.
Good Will Hunting.
It is Good Will Hunting, and that's 2 more points. I had no
Straight up
idea.
guess.
Did you guys know that?
I kept
Straight
wanting to
up
say
guess.
Geely, but I was
Yeah.
like, no, that's not.
Well, I'm trying to think of 97 movies that were big. It's the only one that popped
And
in my
I think
head.
that was a Miramax movie, so he was probably really tight with Miramax because
Yeah.
he was doing them good business, and then he knew Ben Affleck really well, so somehow
Yes.
he probably got involved in that. So that's kind of cool. So that is 13 points for Scott. Jeff, you can steal this Kiss one.
Okay.
If you want to be a good brother, you can let him answer first.
I don't know if I'm a good brother.
What if I just slip you a 20? Could you add marks to it?
There you go.
Maybe put tape over Scott's mouth.
Here's number 10 for the end of the first round, last Kiss question. What 1999 movie was about teenagers trying to see a Kiss concert?
Mark, Detroit Rock City.
It was Detroit Rock City.
Well done,
So
Scott.
14-5. So that is a pretty big difference there. But Jeff, you can still get some points. That's the end of round one. What'd you guys think of the first 20 questions?
That was a blast.
Yeah.
With a good mix, too hard, too easy. What do
And
you think?
Scott,
There was definitely a good mix.
All right.
I was studying Scott's questions, and Scott just like that.
There you go. All right. Here is round number two. Now, round number two is called the combo question.
Combo question.
We're going to combine both Kevin Smith and Kiss for one super question worth 2 points by itself. You're still buzzing in with Mark. Let's see who gets this last 2 points. For 2 points, in what straight-to-video movie starring Kiss did Kevin Smith do the voice of a screaming roller coaster attendant number 2? So he's screaming roller coaster attendant number 2. He's the voice. Jason Mewes is the number one attendant. And they had a quick little cameo in what straight-to-video movie starring Kiss? Any guesses on this one? It's a pretty inside question.
Well, I know it's not Phantom of the Park.
Is that a Kiss movie?
That is a Kiss movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Starring Kiss. Oh, is it?
Straight to video just came out maybe in the last year, I think.
Starring Kiss past year.
Mark?
Yep.
Was it the Scooby-Doo cartoon movie?
Scooby-Doo and Kiss Rock and Roll Mystery. That's right. And that
Oh,
is 2
dude.
more points. So that is
I've got to watch that.
16-5.
It's
You
pretty good.
I watched the wrestling one, the WrestleMania Mystery.
How are they?
Yes.
Is as goofy as you'd imagine, but also you're like, all right, who's the villain? Like, I still like as kiddie as they can make things. I always still am like, I don't know exactly who it is.
Do you remember when we were kids and Scooby Doo would be on?
Yeah.
And Harlem Globetrotter, Globetrotters,
Yeah.
traders, whatever. They would be on Scooby Doo,
Yeah.
or Kiss was
Or
on
Batman.
or Batman.
Yeah.
Batman was the big one for me.
That's kind of what
Yep.
they're trying to do, I think, with these.
That used to just blow my mind.
Yeah.
There's 2 wrestling ones. There's the WrestleMania Mystery, and
Yep.
that one takes place, I think, in the arena.
Uh-huh.
And then there's like a racing wrestling one where
Yes.
like the wrestlers all, for some reason, race monster trucks.
Yeah, and they all have their own like specialty car.
That's the one that I've
Yep.
seen, and it's a hoot. It's a
Cartoon
pretty good
Network.
time.
They've got them on
Yeah,
there.
there you go. All right, so that was round 2, and now we just have one more thing to do. This is called Categories with Buds.
Categories with buds.
We're going to name different things from a certain category. I'm going to play with you guys. You have like 5 seconds to answer. All you have to do is name one, and then you stay in. If you can't think of one in 5 seconds, you're eliminated. Or if you say
Okay.
one that's already been said.
Okay.
The topic, I thought this would be fun for us to end on, is wrestling pay-per-view names.
Ooh.
So we're going to limit it to keep it a little bit more quick. We'll limit it to WWE pay-per-views.
Okay.
Okay, so it could be the history of WWE as long as you have a pay-per-view name that we all remember. And I'll kick it off with good old WrestleMania. And we'll go to Jeff.
SummerSlam,
SummerSlam,
Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble. I'm going to say Survivor Series.
Bad Blood,
No Mercy.
Oh, come on. Why can't I think of one more? Royal Rumble? Did we already say that?
yeah, we did.
Oh, I'm out. Holy shit. On my own game? Oh, come on, guys. I was so excited for that.
Well, that game ended quickly.
All right, it's down to the Toon Brothers. Let's see. What do
Is
you
it
got?
my turn?
Yep.
Beware a Dog in Your House.
Oh, wow. You're taking
We're
it
going
back.
in your house specific.
How about Vengeance?
Oh no, St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Bad Blood?
I already said
Already
Bad
been
Blood.
said.
Oh, you just said Bad
Which
Blood.
means Jeff is the winner. We had a quick. We thought it would go forever, and he's got 3 points there, getting some.
You could have gone till the pay-per-view tomorrow. That's what should have happened.
Very good. So final score: Jeff 8 points, Scott 16 points.
Well done, dude.
right.
doubled
Well
it
done.
up, guys. Thanks so much for doing the show.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan.
Anything you guys want to plug before we go? Where can people find you?
You can find us on iTunes, fully posable, fullyposabllepodcast.com, Stitcher. I already said iTunes. You can buy our t-shirts, whatamaneuver.net. And we want to thank you for having us over and doing this, man. This really meant a lot.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, thanks for making the trip down. We're going to head off right now to Frank & Sons in the City of Industry of California and see if we can do some toy spotting. That'll be
Yeah,
kind of fun.
sounds like
Maybe
fun.
we'll shoot some videos there. We'll do some like selfie phone videos, and we'll post those to promote this show and your show. So if you're listening right now, look for those videos on both of our social media pages. Guys, thanks for coming to my house, and thanks for bringing me the Fig Life t-shirt and the pin set, which you can get for $20 on your website if
Yep.
people want those. And you always are able to find the stuff you're looking for with the power of the shirt.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I can't
It's good
wait
luck.
to go.
It just brings luck. We just
As soon
rub
as I
good
put it
luck
on, the Walmart's going to get those retro series too. So it's going to be great. Very good.
Let's go shopping right now.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
you have it. Scott Toon was victorious over his brother, Jeff Toon. Follow those guys, Jeff and Scott, on the Fully Posable Wrestling Podcast. Listen to that podcast wherever podcasts are found. If you don't like wrestling, if you don't like action figures, these guys are so delightful to listen to. You'll become a fan of both of those things, as well as the brothers themselves. Check our social media pages, Fully Posable on everything, and Ryan Budds on everything. We posted some videos from the toy convention thing we went to called Frankensons, which is like a weekly toy convention of sorts where you can find cool deals on all kinds of stuff. And we posted a lot of pictures from No Mercy if you want to see some of those over the weekend. Ryan Budds and Fully Posable on all social media. Without any further ado, here is the listener quiz for this week from Francisco Oranga, my good pal and co-worker at Super Jacket Productions on Nickelodeon's Crash Lead Season 3. Take it away, Francisco.
Hey guys, my name is Francisco, and this week's listener quiz is on Nike Air Jordans. So question number 1 is, what year was the first Air Jordan produced? Number 2, what Air Jordan was made famous by being scuffed in the movie Do the Right Thing? Number 3, Tinker Hatfield is known for revolutionizing sneaker design. He designed most of the iconic Air Jordans. Which was the first Jordan he designed? Number 4, which Jordan model was released after MJ's first retirement from basketball? And number 5, which Jordan was made famous in the 1996 movie Space Jam? Okay guys, here are the answers. Number 1, what year was the first Air Jordan produced? 1984. Number 2, what Air Jordan was made famous by being scuffed in the movie Do the Right Thing? The Air Jordan 4. Number 3, Tinker Hatfield is known for revolutionizing sneaker design. He designed most of the iconic Air Jordans. Which was the first Jordan he designed? That's the Air Jordan 3. Number 4, which Jordan model was released after MJ's first retirement from basketball? And that was the Jordan 9. And number 5, which Jordan was made famous in the 1996 movie Space Jam? That was the Jordan 11. Thanks for listening, guys. My name is Francisco Oranga. If you want to check out something else that I work on a little podcast on YouTube and on iTunes that you can listen to called Black Series Rebels, all about Star Wars culture, movies, toys, the figures, the Black Series figures, and we have a lot of fun with it, and I think you guys would enjoy it. Thanks a lot for listening.
All right, learn some stuff about sneakers. He has like 300, 400, 500 pairs of shoes, Francisco. I do not have any myself. I have like 4. I have like one brown dress, one black dress, one sneaker, one casual like airwalky type shoe, and maybe a pair of sandals. That's all I got, maybe 5 pairs. But I'm looking for shoes, so if you want to donate me some good shoes and you're a size 12 or 11 and a half in some, let me know. That's about all we got for this week's episode. If you like this one, again, go back and check out the catalog. We got 60-something other episodes for you to listen to. Some of my favorites in there. It's a great couple episodes with my family. There's one against my wife for Valentine's Day earlier this year. We did Patrick Swayze Roadhouse versus Patrick Swayze's Dirty Dancing trivia. I did one with my older brothers, my brother Tom versus my brother Scott, in Bon Jovi songs and Stallone movies. Also did a one-on-one with my brother Tom in American Pie trilogy trivia, or not trilogy. Yeah, I guess it was. Well, it was the four movies. Quadrilogy? I think that's what you call that. And then I did a great one on Mother's Day with my mom where I revealed to her on the podcast that we were having our second baby. So you can listen to all those great family episodes and a million different other topics and episodes if you go back through the catalog. Rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Let people know about it. Give me some word of mouth love and tell people why you like this show. Get me some new listeners and I'll get you some artwork. That's right. If you leave a review, the next 5 reviews, we're on 70 reviews for the podcast. Leave a review. The next 5 will get amazing artwork mailed to them totally free from me and my good friend Drew A. Blank, a great artist out of the state of South Carolina, I believe. So go to herosquares.com, check out Drew's work, and then we'll send you something really nice. I got a bunch of prints here to mail out at the Budds compound. That's about it for this week. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for telling a friend about the show, and we'll see you next time for more Trivia with Budds. Bye.